We're in Florida! Is the last stop on our 6-country round the world trip. In case you haven't been following our journey from the beginning, 5 months ago we decided to pack in our jobs, pack up our stuff and set off for an epic trip around the globe. This wasn't the first time that I have been travelling, but it was the first time that we decided to put our whole life on hold and escape reality for a bit at the real risk of coming back home to England and not having a job at all. With a mortgage and our careers on the line, it did seem a bit reckless, but it was so exciting and so worth it. After ticking off a major bucket list item in Hawaii, we were on the home run back to the UK, but we couldn't resist a cheeky stop at somewhere that's quite familiar to us and that always guarantees a good time and usually sunshine. It's Florida! And as an extra homecoming bonus, some of my best friends flew out from London to join us for the party. And it's boiling hot, good one Florida, exactly what we were expecting. We've been lucky enough to experience so much of the world's natural beauty on this trip, but now we were in Orlando, top of the list was some good old-fashioned theme park fun. I often find myself back in Florida these days for work, so if you're planning a trip to Orlando soon, check out my website, passportstamps.uk. On there I've put together a complete guide to Orlando, including recommendations on where to stay, how to do Orlando on a budget, and my pick of the best theme parks, as well as a full 2-week itinerary. Once our friends had arrived from the UK, we kicked off a couple of weeks of Florida fun at one of my favourite theme parks, Universal Orlando. I think that no matter what age you are or whether you just don't like going on roller coasters, etc., you can have such a laugh in a theme park, especially with a group of friends, and especially at the parks that they have out here, which are just a different level. Obviously the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is amazing. I loved Diagon Alley, and getting to ride the Hogwarts Express is brilliant. Just walking around the park is fun. Just walking out of the park in the evening, we just felt 100% relaxed. It was just a brilliant day. Today is a very special day because we have come to Discovery Cove, not only to hang out with tropical fish, monkeys, otters, you name it. Later on we're going to get to swim with dolphins and I am so excited. Discovery Cove is so different to anywhere else in Orlando. They have secluded beaches surrounded by tropical gardens and swimming holes with real fish and stingray. It was Simon's birthday when we were out there, and one of his lifelong dreams was to swim with dolphins, and we got to do that here and it was so good. It's unlimited food and drink all day at Discovery Cove, so we just hung about watching the dolphins playing and we just had the most relaxing, chilled out day. Obviously the weather helped because it was gorgeous. As well as Discovery Cove, we checked out SeaWorld and Busch Gardens in Tampa. Tampa is about an hour away from Orlando, so if you have time, I definitely recommend going to Busch Gardens, especially if you like thrill rides, and especially if it's included in your ticket because it's like a free day out. Obviously in Orlando the theme parks tend to take all of the attention, but one of the best things we did was an airboat ride across the Everglades, which I thought was going to be quite leisurely and was actually quite thrilling. So that was the first surprise, but we also got to see a wild alligator, and not only was he just in the waters next to the boat, he actually came out onto the bank and he was probably a bit closer to me than I really wanted him to be. Because Florida was the last stop on our trip, we were pretty tired by now, so a lot of the time there we just spent sunbathing and chilling out and catching up with our friends, finding out what we've been missing back home. But we did find some time to drive down to Miami because Simon had never been to Miami before, and we just thought it was a good place to celebrate a magnificent trip and to go out with a bit of a party. I love Florida. I think that throughout my life I'll always end up migrating back there for one reason or the other, not just for work, but just because coming from England, You want to go somewhere with palm trees and sun and just guaranteed entertainment, stuff to do all the time. Every time I go there, I never feel like I have enough time to do everything. So I've already kind of penciled in my next trip back to Orlando. We actually took 21 flights during this trip, but this one was the most bittersweet. We were leaving Orlando and all the twinkly lights behind, knowing that when we woke up we would be home and our amazing, enlightening, carefree, once-in-a-lifetime trip around the world would be over. If you've ever thought about doing a trip like this, then definitely do it. It was the stuff of dreams.
Forget where you're coming from.